Hello and welcome. My name's Steve Davis. I'm the tutor for Leader in Adult Care. Welcome to this introduction session. The aim of the session is for me to give you the helicopter tour around the standards, how the teaching and learning is going to take place, and the work in which you need to do. So let's get started. So you're on this program. It's a level 5 program. It's going to take about 18 months to get through. So the roles and responsibilities in which you're going to be in, ideally, the leader in adult care will guide and inspire a team of people through different problems throughout the health and social care field. And this is going to be things facing practical, physical problems, social, emotional, psychological, intellectual challenges. The leader of the care team will develop value-based cultures for those systems. And again, you should be at a supervisory level, so you should be able to manage those situations. You should be able to respond for business development staff, look at financial controls. So that could be, again, simple things around budgets or controlling profit and loss or something along those lines. Equally, you'll need to show that you've got resilience and you're able to manage risk and lead your organization through change, because a lot of this is going to have a lot of change attached to it. Now, a leader in adult care has responsibilities for managing community, so domiciliary, residential-based services. A large element of leadership when working with care workers or networking with other people there. So just making sure that you are in that role so you're able to influence change where necessary. Now, because it's a standard, we have our skills, our knowledge, and our behaviours. It's going to be no surprise to you that the behaviours and attributes that we expect from a leader are our 6 C's. So care, compassion, courage, communication, competence, and commitment. So being caring, I just expect to see that all the time. Everything you should do is about encouraging independence, making positive differences for individuals. Compassion, really being kind and considerate, having that dignity and that empathy through everything that you do. Courage is about speaking up and having those difficult conversations when you need to, and about supporting risk, because again, it takes courage to support risk. You're going to need to be good at communicating. There's irony. You're going to need to be good at communicating. So again, looking at different methods of communication, understanding accessible information standards out via CQC, and making sure that you're providing the information for people clear. That's clear. Competence, so knowing about competence, so the different phases of competency, and then finally having that commitment, so that resilience and making sure that you're able to follow the role through. Now, part of your program is your knowledge and skills. Now, these are heavily linked to the level 5 diploma that you've got to do. So you have an on-program requirement to complete your diploma. Your skills and your knowledge are linked to the diploma. So we're not really going to be focusing too heavily on your skills and knowledges or behaviours, because as you complete the level 5 diploma, all of these skills and knowledges are linked and shall naturally unfold. So for example, for your knowledge, in your endpoint assessment, you're going to have to cover or demonstrate about taking responsibilities. So that's about statutory frameworks, that's the CQC Single Inspection Framework, looking at your code of practice, so that's your skills for care code of practice there. Dignity and human rights, so you'll have to understand some legislation around dignity and human rights, so that's equality, diversity and inclusion. Communication, we've just talked about, so the legal framework and ethical frameworks, Accessible Information Standards Act, and sharing of information, so we'll talk about that. You'll have safeguarding, so understand section 42s, understanding local policies, and understanding how to conduct those and have elements to the need to ensure that your culture is open and honest and transparent around safeguarding. Health and well-being, so how you monitor, how you report on health and well-being areas, how you maintain your professional development and your leadership theories. So that's your theory requirement. Your skills, again, cover exactly the same. So taking responsibility, dignity, communication, safeguarding, health and well-being, professional development, and leadership. So within this, within 18 months' time, you'll hit a process called Gateway. Gateway is when you put together a piece of evidence. The training provider, so us, your employer, and you, we will go through what we've just gone through there, your skills, the knowledge and behaviours, we'll tick them off. And if we're all happy, we'll progress you through to Gateway for EPA. You can't clear Gateway unless you've got your level 5 diploma in leadership and management and adult care. So again, we'll explain what that is and how you're going to do that shortly. You'll also have to have your English and Maths level 2. Part of this is you also have to undertake the DBS process. So we need to see a copy of a current DBS to making sure that it's compliant there. So that's part of that Gateway requirement. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you the assessment plan for this standard. So we're on the Institute for Apprenticeships of Technical and Education. Here we're on Leader in Adult Care. We are on version 1.0, and here you've got your assessment plan. So we're going to bring that plan up. Now, you're going to go through, you're going to complete your diploma in the normal way that an NVQ is completed, and we'll talk about that in a second. And once that's done, you'll go through the process called EPA, which is an endpoint assessment. In this, we've got 2 points to cover. One is an observation of your leadership, and the second is a professional discussion. So nice and simple. So here's the breakdown. Typically, you'll be on program around 18 months. You'll complete your level 5 diploma. You'll go through the Gateway after we've confirmed you've met it, that you've passed your level 5 and you've got your English and Maths. On completion of that, you'll be observed in practice. You'll have a professional discussion, normally based upon the portfolio of evidence that's submitted. And then you will get your final grades. And here you can see it's only a pass or distinction. So let's have a look at what's in the observation. So the observation will last 90 minutes. It's done in 2 stages. Post-observation questioning for 30 minutes, and we'll follow the observation. The independent assessor may increase the time by 10%, so give or take. So the observation of leadership must include the ability to demonstrate leadership to an organisational audience. The apprentice will lead the activity and will have prepared this in advance. So in other words, you prepare what it is that's going to be observed. You'll normally be given 2 weeks notice with a maximum of 4 weeks to prepare for that. And here's just some examples of what you could do. So for example, you could do service development improvement plans. You could look at a process for preparing for regulatory requirements, for example, working with external partners, funds, or stakeholders. You may develop a service provision, for example, forms of presenting information, sharing data. You may set up using service provisions, for example, market research, or you might conduct best interest meetings. So it's entirely up to you what you do, but it will be agreed with the EPA beforehand. And again, you'll have some questionings. The questions will look at the 4 key areas: issues around safeguarding, relevant regulations, so legislation. So that would be things like the Health and Social Care Act, the Care Act, Equality, Health and Safety, Accessible Information, GDPR. So it's just going to be your basic legislation. But again, we cover that all via the diploma. You'll then have your CQC regulatory requirements, so your CLOE. So at this point, you'll be assessed under the Single Inspection Framework. So you'll have to understand what that is. In addition, you'll have 4 sets of questions. So that's just to cover the skills, knowledge, and behaviours. The second part then is the professional discussion, and that's a two-way in-depth discussion between the apprentice and the independent assessor, and they'll obviously assess you through observations of leadership. The professional discussion is the independent assessor will ask you questions, which should take about 90 minutes. And again, they'll look at the behaviours as set out in Appendix A. So if we go down to the bottom for Appendix A, here's Appendix A, you can see if there is a cross there, you're going to be asked a question against that. So again, you can revise. But let's face it, look, they're your 6Cs. You should be able to talk about those quite happily. Here, you've already been told they're going to do statutory frameworks. So that's going to be your legislations. Here, systems to ensure compliance, health and safety, risk management. So it's stuff that you're going to know anyway. So you haven't really got anything to worry about. So that's your assessment plan in a nutshell. So here you've got your knowledge, skills and behaviours. There you've got your assessment plan. But ultimately, it's all going to be covered via your level 5 diploma anyway. So as long as you do your online learning and as long as you complete your work, you're going to pass this, no problems. So let's look at the portfolio. So when we log in, we've got our normal portfolio here. What will happen here is you will have lots of PowerPoint presentations finally appear, and you will also have workbooks, and you'll also have these videos. So each week you'll just see that grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So as things progress, you'll see that pick up. As you go through this, you'll click through here. So for example, you start on welcome. It'll take you to the qualification specification. And this is just the breakdown of the qualification. So just explaining what the level 5 diploma is. Once you've done that, just hit next. That takes you to the website that we've just done. So again, go back, hit next. Marker's done, hit next. Okay, so we just go through, and again, we've just talked about that EPA, so that's fine. Your diploma is made up of different themes. So in theme 1, you've got these 3 units to do. Okay, so as we start then, Unit 1, 1.1, Analyse Theories of Leadership and Management. These are all the different types of theories of leadership and management. You don't need to remember them all, just maybe a couple so you can talk about them. Again, Analyse Theories of Leadership and Management. So again, you're just going to go through. You just keep hitting next. Then what happens is you'll get to the end of a module. Well, sorry, end of a learning outcome, I lie. And then what happens is, as you get to the end of a learning outcome, it's going to ask you a question. So you can see here we're at 1.7. Great. So we've got 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. So this is what we've just learned. Here, you need to discuss the definition of effective leadership and management in the context of adult social care services whilst addressing key learning outcomes. So you need to answer that question. What you're going to do is hit new attempt and you just put your answer in there. So let's just say that's our answer and we're going to submit assignment. Once you've put your answer, you submitted it, you'll get your page of celebrations. That then comes over for me to mark. I'll mark it, but you just carry on. So you don't have to wait for my feedback, just carry on. I have given you an example answer as well. So here, I have answered the question for you, but it is example only. You're now going to move into 2.1, 2.2, and again, you just keep going. So that's how your diploma works. You complete your online theory here. So you've just answered that one. You're going to answer that one. And then there's a recommended reading list at the end. So you just go through it. Now, If you want a shortcut to your assignments, you can do that up here. You can click there. These are all of the assignments that need to be completed as part of your diploma. So again, you can click there, do new attempt, pop that in there, off you go. Then do the next one, 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 do the next one. So that's how you complete the theory. And then what will happen is I will come out and do observations with you to cover the performance criteria. So that's all your theory. And then you have your observations as well. Equally, we'll have discussions. So discussions will be there. You'll need to answer them. When I mark your work, you'll have your grades report. So here you can see you're waiting for feedback there because you've obviously submitted something. So if you click there, you're waiting for my feedback, but obviously I haven't given it yet. But if you had done it, it would be there. So that's how you get feedback. And obviously, that's all of the work that you need to do for your diploma. So there's a fair bit there. So you just need to start getting on with that. People within your group, pages is all the number of the pages of the text that's there. Files is the library of stuff. So for each of these, you're going to have a PowerPoint, you're going to have a workbook. So don't worry about it. And you're going to have the material online. Plus, I'm going to be doing a video. So each week, I'm going to be uploading video content as well to help you through this. Again, syllabus just runs through the course program. So it takes a while to come up. But you can see, look, there are all the learning outcomes for the whole syllabus. It's a lot, right? Just don't overthink it. Just start at the top, work your way through, okay? You've got your inbox there if you need to talk to me, but my advice is just go to the top, and then what will happen is as you go through it, you can see it's ticked off. So don't skip stuff, just keep clicking through, click, 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 because it will track your progression. Now, what's really important in this is you must access this on a weekly basis. You've got to be doing at least 5 to 6 hours a week to get on top of this. If you don't do 5 to 6 hours a week, there's just no way you're going to get this done in time. So you must be dedicated just to keep working through it, just keep chipping away little and often. And I say that because in my side, so if I go to student view, if I go to people, I don't know if anyone's logged in yet. Great. Yeah, good. So if I go to student view, I'm sure Jane won't mind me showing you this, but I can show you. So here you can see I've got the access report, so I can see when people are logging in and how long they're logging in for. Okay, so it's really important that you do that because we are required to show that you are logging in on a regular basis, complete this work, and there is a lot of work there to complete on a regular basis. So please make sure that you are logging in. Okay, and then here you can see, oh no, that's not it. So here you can see this was the work that I copied over. So that's what I would see. And then here, I would then give feedback. So let's, for example, I put well done. And I'll grade it. Now, the reason I grade isn't because the diploma is pass or fail. It's because I can predict your EPA grade. So, for example, now, if I log back in as that learner, so leader in adult care, student view, what you should then see, where I've just given you the feedback, you can see there, I've given feedback, grades, and you will see your grade report. And then here, you can see the feedback that I've given you. So if you haven't quite yet met the mark, don't worry about it. It will say 0. And if I've put 0, it's not because you failed, it's because I can't grade if it hasn't met the criteria in full. So if it comes back as a 0, it does mean you just need to go back and add to it. So just look at my feedback and add to it. Okay, that's all you have to do. I really don't like referring work back because I know how hard you've worked, but unfortunately, unless it meets the criteria in full, I can't accept it. When I mark your work, it has to be valid, authentic, reliable, current, and sufficient. So that's how we mark, and it's either a pass or fail as such, or pass or not yet competent, then fail. Not yet competent just means just add to it, and then we get it to competent. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's your induction, your helicopter tour. It's a lot that you need to do for this diploma. If we look at the specifications, so when we look at the book that I've given you, this is what we're covering. So that's the unit title. It's in theme 1. That's the unit title. This is the first learning outcome, understand leadership management theories. There are the 7 knowledge requirements that we've covered. It's got a star, so it means it's knowledge only. So I don't need to do any observation in this. It's just pass or fail on theory. But what you might find useful, and the reason I'm showing you this book is because here you can see you've got some bullet points where it's bold. Down here, it does give you the definition, could include but not limited to, could include but not limited to, could include but not limited to. Equally, it does then give examples of evidence of portfolios. So this is other stuff that I could look at if I needed to when I come out and do the observations. Okay, so it just gives you a bit more information if you needed it for that unit. And then you move on to unit 2. So this book is here just to guide you through the work. Now, if we go right down to the bottom, it gives us a kind of a grid, which is useful. So here is the qualification in its entirety. You've got your first theme, which is leadership and management roles and responsibilities. You've got 3 units there: leadership and management in care, team leaders, and resource management. So they're all relatively straightforward. In theme 2, we've got governance and quality assurance. 3, working with others. 4, personal-centered working. 5, professional development. 6, safe ways of working. 7, managing, developing self and others. And 8, visions and strategies. We then have optional units. Now, I call them optional. They're not optional for you, so sorry about that, because obviously I can't do that. That just wouldn't work. But what you are doing is you're doing this unit, which is healthcare and clinical skills. You're doing this unit, which is specialist areas of care, which is your mental health. And you're doing this unit, which is research. So they're your optional units. So what I suggest you do is have a look, have a play, and get started. If you need any help, you know where I am. Remember, at level 5, it's learner-led. I would expect you to be able to lead your way through this, because if you can't, I would be very concerned that you're doing a leadership qualification. Because obviously part of this is your own professional personal development. So you should be able to manage your time effectively to make sure you're meeting the deadlines for this qualification. If you need any help, you know where I am. I'm obviously here all the time. If you need a one-to-one, just book with me via my booking system. And obviously when I come out to see you to do your observations live in the workplace. So I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully that induction has given you a quick helicopter tour of the standard and the diploma. And I will see you next week when we look at Unit 1 or Theme 1, and we're going to go through those units to get you started. Anyway, I wish you all the best of luck. Take care. Bye for now.